Hey, and welcome to the video series on how to rebrand private label rights, ebooks, or reports. Now, I'm going to show you how you can build a higher converting business with a few simple and easy tweaks. So this is video number 1, the introduction to rebranding. Now, how do you build a higher converting business from private label rights? Well, it's simple. Simply don't be like everybody else. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, everyone else usually buys the product which has some sort of private label rights included in them, which allows you to change it, allows you to reposition it, and so forth. But everybody else stamps their name on the private label rights product and resells it. Now, I'm not saying that this model does not make money. It does. You can make good money just reselling the product, as it is. However, you're dealing with 100 or 1,000, people who are doing the exact same thing. So what I'm trying to do is help you change your mindset. So from here on out, what I want you to do is simply to change your mindset or change the view where you view private label rights products. This simple change to your mindset will allow you to really increase your business. Now, obviously, no guarantees. However, I've seen so many people just stamp their name on it and resell it, and that's it. They do well, but I've seen people who can really take it to the next level by simply rebranding it. So that's what I want you to do. Is time to change your mindset. So the biggest mindset, like we talked about, is to resell the exact product. But the problem is you have more competition. So you need to change your mindset to resell the training, the content under an umbrella. The umbrella needs to be a brand. So quit stamping your name on private label rights products and just resell them. The truth is you can make more money this way, but you can make more money through branding a name, branding a series, branding your company. In fact, you can also get away with, having to change the graphics all the time. Let's say you create a series of, animal training or dog training or cat training, products, and you create a brand and make a series, under that brand. So with that, all you have to do is create one graphic and put it under that series. So that's another way of going about that. But I'm going to show you a lot more simple and easy shortcuts and tricks that you can begin to implement. The whole goal here is it's time to increase the perceived value of your product. So instead of trying to be like everybody else, increase the perceived value of your product by just a few simple tweaks. Now, before I actually move on and talk about the tools that you're going to need and how, the system works or the kind of the plan that we're going to take, I wanted to talk about a quick overview so that you can understand what we're going to be talking about in the video series as a whole. Video number 1 is, of course, this specific video. Video number 2, we're going to take a product, we're going to analyze it, and then we're going to figure out, okay, what do we have and where do we need to go in terms of rebranding it and repositioning it. In fact, besides private label rights products, there's a lot of products out there that are not doing as well, and once rebranded and repositioned at a certain angle can increase in profit. So that's what we're going to do, is create a plan of attack. Video number 3, we're going to talk about how to take the mini site and the e-covers that the private label rights product creator gives you and how you can rebrand it yourself. Video number 4, we're going to talk about mini site e-cover rebranding in terms of outsourcing. Let's say you don't want to rebrand it, you're on a time limit. I'm giving you 2 different avenues here If you don't want to spend a lot of money, or you want to spend a little money and save some time, I'm going to show you that in video number 4. Video number 5, I'm going to show you how to rebrand your sales letter with just a few tweaks to the sales letter. You don't need to change the whole sales letter. You just need to change a few parts of the sales letter to make it your own. Video number 6, we're going to talk about rebranding the product itself. Taking the product, we're going to take a actual real product here. So from video number 2 and on, we're going to take a real life product and show you step by step how to rebrand it. So video number 6, the product itself would be the ebook or the report. Video number 7, we're going to talk about how to convert the rebranded Word document. You can use Microsoft Word or OpenOffice. Either way, we're going to show you how to convert the file, the ebook and report, to a PDF file so that it can be universally used by people with Windows, Macintosh, and anybody who does not have Microsoft Word. We're going to talk about video number 8, marketing materials, squeeze pages, how to customize the squeeze page, how to add a custom sign up form and from your autoresponder, and much more. Video number 9 is also under the marketing materials section, how to take the follow-up messages that the product creator gives you and rebrand them, or if they don't give you follow-up messages, how you can go about easily creating those follow-up messages. And video number 10, we're going to talk about how you can set up your thank you page. So basically, the thank you page is your download page. So how you can connect your downloadable files to it, how you can upload them. And of course, last but not least, video number 11, we're going to talk about automating your payment delivery system by using PayPal. Now, here are the list of things that you're going to need. You're going to need a different mindset. Of course, the mindset that you can make a few simple tweaks to the private label rights product, put it under your own umbrella, your brand, and so forth. You're going to need the internet. We're going to do a lot of downloading using software, free software. We're going to try to stick with free software. You're going to need Photoshop, or you don't need Photoshop. Photoshop, I know some of you are thinking, oh man, it's going to cost me several $100. There's actually a way to go about using Photoshop for very cheap on a monthly basis. But I do provide you with the how to outsource mini site creation, just in case you don't want to go this way and you just want to pay somebody else to do it. So that's another convenient way to go about doing that. You'll need Microsoft Word, which does cost money. If you don't want to use Microsoft Word, then you can use OpenOffice. And just Google these items, and I'm going to actually show you where to get these items as well. And Composer, which is a WYSIWYG tool. WYSIWYG tool, if you're not familiar, is a tool. What it stands for is what you see is what you get. And it allows you to edit the HTML files like the sales letter, the thank you page, and so forth, and squeeze pages and so forth. So we're going to use that tool. Don't worry if you're not familiar with the tool. Don't feel overwhelmed, because if you can use Microsoft Word or OpenOffice, it's just as easy. And of course, you're going to need to have PayPal. If you want to use a different payment processor, you can if you want to. However, in this specific video, we're going to be using PayPal to cover that. You're also going to need to have FileZilla, which is a free FTP program, which allows you to upload files to your website. And of course, you're going to need web hosting and so forth. And Qt PDF, which is a program that we're going to use to convert the Word documents to a PDF file. And I'll show you step by step how to go about doing that. How it all works, basically, as you saw in the quick overview, it's a formula here. So we're gonna take your private label rights ebook or report. You're gonna look at it. You're gonna understand what you have and what you don't have, and who is your audience. We're going to create an angle to increase the perceived value of the product. I'm going to show you some strategies that you can begin to implement. You're going to create an attack plan, and we're going to attack it. So with that said, let's move on to video number 2 and talk about, taking a product and analyzing it and figuring out how we're going to rebrand it so that we can do everything correctly. Hey, and welcome to video number 2. We're going to be talking about analyzing and rebranding. So basically how to create a plan of attack to take what you have in terms of your private label rights ebook, report, or written document, and how can we take that and create a different angle or create a different brand. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk about is branding angle types. Now, before we actually talk about the angles, I do want to talk about your audience and figuring out who your audience is, what their problems are, what keeps them up at night, and what do they want. If you can understand your audience better, and this is often where people make the biggest mistake, is they create a product and then they forget totally about the audience, and then they try to market to the audience. So if you can take a private label rights ebook or report and so forth, sometimes you look at the product itself and you look at the sales letter that's provided, and it may not necessarily be as targeted as it should be, or maybe you can improve it better. So the only way that you're going to know that is if you understand who the audience is, what their problems are, why they're going to buy this product in the first place, and then you can understand how you can tweak it, improve it, and rebrand it. And I'm going to be talking about different strategies that you can use in terms of branding. So what do they want in terms of this content? And then if you can understand that, then changing the sales letter, changing the mini site graphics, and everything else like that should be quite easily. So what is your goal? What are you trying to rebrand? Let's say you have a private label rights, ebook on a certain topic. What is your goal? What is your end goal? And besides, trying to, make lots of money. That's not your goal here. Your goal here is, how is the angle in which you change going to impact the audience? Is it going to make the audience want it more? Is it very specific to a more specific area of the audience? What are you trying to rebrand? And here are different branding types or different angles that you can use. There are many, many different out there, but I found that these are the easiest way to go out and, some simple shortcuts and strategies that you can use right away. The first thing is to create an umbrella brand that includes many products. And if you do this, then you'll only need one mini site graphic. Now, what do I mean by that? By umbrella brand that includes many products. Let's say you have, you find a bunch of private label rights ebooks and reports that talk about the topic on cats. People love cats, and there are reasons why people buy cat books and so forth. And an umbrella brand is, let's say we create a brand called, catnip or something. Then you would basically, or how to train a cat, or how to help a cat, go to the litter box, and how to train a cat and stuff like that. You would basically create a brand, one brand, and then continually find products that fit under that brand and sell it under that one membership site, one mini site. And this way, when you get brand new products, you don't really have to worry about creating a different mini site graphic or e-cover graphic for every single one of it. It all falls under one brand. And this is a great way if you want to save some time, save some money, you can do this. The other angle type is, of course, what you can do if you don't have a lot of products that fall into one specific niche. Now, creating a different brand for each different product. So if you take this route, then you will need to have different graphics for each of the different products. So it takes a little more work. However, you'll be able to target many different niches. And another angle type is to convert the product into a different format. And how do you go about that? Well, let's say you receive an ebook or report and you put it under a different brand and you make it into a podcast or something, or a bunch of audio files. You're changing the different format, but you're also branding it. You could brand it as the daily podcast, or if it's an ebook and it's a system, you could turn it into a software and create a brand under software under brands. Or you could convert the ebook to a video, and you can create a bunch of videos, like video membership site about that specific brand. So these are just some of the ideas that you can go ahead and use if you want to. The next thing you want to do is analyze what you have. So we're actually moving away from the angle and going towards looking at what you have. The basic things that you want to have, and if you're not, you want to perhaps create them, are as follows. So we have the product, which is the ebook, report, any rewritable document. It doesn't have to necessarily be an ebook or report. It can be anything rewritable or a document. So you'll definitely need that. You'll need the sales letter. You'll need the mini site. You cover graphics, and you'll need the thank you page, which is pretty much standard these days in terms of the basic things that you should have. Now, you should also have a squeeze page, which is optional. It's nice to have, and follow-up messages. Now, if the product does not have, a follow-up message or a squeeze page, I'll show you how to create follow-up messages. And when we, inside the video where we show, how to edit the squeeze page, if you understand how to, edit HTML documents with the WYSIWYG tool, which I'm going to show you later down the road, which is really, really easy to do, you can easily create a squeeze page. So that's that. Those are the basic things that you should have, and if not, we're going to show you how to create them. Whenever you're trying to rebrand or reposition a product, your whole idea with it should be, okay, how can I lower my competition, but how can I also increase the conversion rates and increase the perceived value? So let's say hundreds and thousands of people are selling the same exact product, and you take that product, you rebrand it, and you change it around, and you use these tips in this video series. But how do you really increase the perceived value? Well, there are ways of going about that. Bonuses, for example. You could take bonuses, related videos, or other products that are related to that private label rights product. Find another private label rights product that falls under that specific niche. But the bonuses have to be related. If you can't include, let's say the product is a cat product, how to train your cat to do tricks. If you're targeting cat lovers, yeah, it might be a possibility that you can do something on dog training, but you probably don't want to. So the bonuses need to be specifically related to that specific niche. And adding bonuses or other related products will make your product appear to be different. So one strategy that a lot of people use is you'll take the product and you'll change the graphics and you'll sell it. But what people don't realize is that without adding bonuses, if you don't change the sales letter enough, you will look like everybody else who's selling that product. So you can definitely stand out and be ahead of all those people simply by adding bonuses. Now the bonuses have to relate to each other and relate to the initial product. So those are just some ways that you can use to increase the perceived value and definitely keep one step ahead. Now let's talk about rebranding your title. If you take the avenue of rebranding, putting it under an umbrella, you're going to need a title. Now, we're going to talk about changing the title and subtitle, and I'm going to give you some examples later on, but basically you'll want to change the title and the subtitle. You want to use in the title a keyword phrase that relates directly to the problem that you're trying to solve. So you know how I talked about audience and how it's important to understand your audience and this and that? Well, understanding them will help you do your keyword research and so forth, so that you can understand what kind of keyword phrases to use in your title and so forth that will directly and specifically target their problems, needs, and so forth. And doing so will increase your conversions and increase your market reach. So I know a lot of this sounds fairly common sense and simple, because really it is. And I'm going to show you some examples in the live example. So now let's talk about a live example. What I basically did in this live example was I went to a website called plrnewsletters.com, and I was able to find a report about cats and how to reach cat lovers and so forth. So as we can see here, we have a product on the cat niche. For example, caring for your feline friend and so forth. So this is what we're going to do. And what I want to do now is basically hop on over to my computer here, and I'm going to show you what we're working with. So we got here the specific report or product. We've got the license, we have follow-up messages, we have the sales letter, the thank you page, here, and the squeeze page, and the Photoshop files here, and some extra content, which is pretty neat. Now, whenever you're trying to rebrand the title and the subtitle, there's a two-step process that I use. Step number one, I use Google keyword tool, and I go to Google and I try to figure out, I try to understand the audience really well first, and then I go to Google keyword tool and I try to figure out if I can see some sort of a pattern or some sort of keywords that I want to use within my title. So if I go to the Google keyword tool here and I type in cat training, and then of course you want to pick a keyword that might be getting good traffic. So I'm going to sort that. So the whole point of this is kind of get an idea of what kind of keywords you're dealing with. How do you train a cat? Train a cat. And then what I do in the step 2 of the process is I gather a bunch of keywords and I go to domaintools.com, and up at the upper right hand corner you'll see a drop down menu, and if you click on suggestions you can enter a bunch of keywords and it'll actually suggest to you different domain names and different what's available and stuff like that. So if I click on train a cat, click on search, you can kind of get an idea and see. So domain tools will actually take that and it'll give you synonyms of the the product. So you could even enter the title of the original product, but I use this two-step process so I can make sure that it is targeted directly at the audience. Now obviously domain tools is picking out synonyms, not like super smart, so it thinks train is like a locomotive. But as you can see up here, it says like teach a cat, train cat guide, and so forth and so forth. So this is a good tool that I absolutely love and have been using for many years to give me some ideas about different titles and subtitles that I can use. So that's it, and I'm going to move to video number 3. We're going to talk about rebranding the mini site and e-cover graphics. And if you don't want to do it yourself, you can always outsource it. So if you want to do that, you can always skip to video number 4. Hey, and welcome to video number 3. You are going to learn in this video how to rebrand the mini site and e-covers yourself. So what I want to do is just give you a quick overview here, and then I'm going to go straight into showing you how to edit the graphics and everything like that with Photoshop. Now, I want to give you some e-cover creator resources, so I'm going to do that first. And then I'm going to show you how to get Photoshop where you can get it cheap for $19 per month or $29 per month. That way, if you want to play around with it and you don't really want to spend, $300 on it, right off the bat, then you can go this avenue. And then I'm going to use Photoshop on a live example so that you can see, over my shoulder exactly how to, change the title, change the subtitle, change the graphics, change the background, and so forth. So with that said, let's go and get started. So for those of you who don't really want to use Photoshop, I want to give you an option. Let's say, for example, that you only want to revamp or rebrand your e-covers. You don't really care about the mini site or the header and the footer and stuff like that. You just want to create really cool, box shots and e-covers and stuff like that. So what I want to do first is give you, the resources, point you and recommend you to certain ebook and e-cover creators. There's one called boxshot3d.com up here. So if you go to this site here, you'll be forwarded to here and you can take a look at their boxes or e-covers and so forth. Right now I'm looking at their ebook covers, and as you can see, it's very professional, very nice looking. And the beauty of it is you don't need to have Photoshop. It does cost money, however, so it really depends on what you plan to do in the future. You want to look long term here. If you're planning to go all out and just create e-covers and you don't need Photoshop, use this. Another great place you can go to is ecovercreator3d.com, and it's got 8 3D e-cover designs. You pay a one-time fee. You create it over and over again and create your e-covers over and over again. So these are, low-cost solutions. You're not going to be really able to really tweak them to the fullest extent, but if that's really the basics is all you need, then that's really all you need to do. And the third one is ecoverbot.com, as you can see here. As you can see, you can try it for free, test it out, see if you like it. If you like it, then, create more. Now what I want to talk about is Cover Action Pro, which is an action script, but you need Photoshop in order to use Cover Action Pro. Now most people use Cover Action Pro. I use Cover Action Pro. And what it is, they are action scripts. So when you're going into Photoshop, you can edit, flat picture, and then you go in and use Cover Action Pro and you click a few buttons, and what it does is it actually allows you to convert the flat image, to a 3D image. So there's a little more flexibility with Cover Action Pro, and they've been around, and I believe they were one of the first, people to create these types of e-covers and so forth. So that's that. Now I want to move on and show you where you can get Photoshop for $19 or $29. It really depends on what avenue you choose. So let's say, for example, you want to use Photoshop, you want to learn how to use that, and you want to get, if you go to adobe.com/product/creative suite/CSS or CS subscription.html. Or you can go to Google and just type in, Photoshop monthly rent. And then, as you can see, it's only $19 per month. You can also pay for other subscriptions as well. On the 1-year plan, if you go with their 1-year plan, it's $19 a month. So that's roughly 20 times 12. But if you go on a monthly to monthly basis and you don't do the 1-year plan and you don't feel like, dishing out that much money up front, then you can always go with their $29.99 per month. So with that said, let me move on quickly to Photoshop, and we're going to go ahead and edit the live example, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so right now we're looking at the live example, the files here. And normally they will provide you with the Photoshop PSD file. So anything PSD is Photoshop files. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just go ahead and open that. Okay, so I opened up all of the Photoshop files, or the PSD files. And you'll notice that some of them are 3D e-covers. The ones that are 3D e-covers, you can't actually change. So the ones that are flat, for example, the flat covers like this, you can actually change. And then you can actually change this by using layers. Now, I probably don't have enough time to give you a full course on using Adobe Photoshop, but I will give you an overview of, in relation to e-covers, how to edit them and so forth. Basically, one of the best parts of using Adobe Photoshop is their layers, or your ability to use layers. What layers are, imagine like 10 sheets of transparent plastic, and on each transparent plastic they have an image. So with layers, you can actually move, with transparent plastic, you can move the images around. You could reorder the layers so that one layer is on top of the other, and so forth and so forth. That's just an analogy that I use to explain layers. Layers are your friends, and I love layers because they just make your life easier. For example, if you were to edit a image in Paint, then if you make a mistake, you can't just delete that layer. You have to delete or change out the whole image. But with a layer, for example here, I could move the butterfly around. See, so if I select the butterfly layer, I could move the butterfly layer. Or if I wanted to change the font, I could change the font. So if I select this and I select the text, I could actually change the text and the font. So instead of caring for your feline friend, I could just say cat training 101. And if I wanted to swap out the images, I could do that. And I could, if you click on the eye here, you can make it disappear. So the eye doesn't mean that I deleted the layer. It just means that I made it visible and invisible. And if you want to, for example, insert an image, you could import new images. And you could easily just find images. For example, if I go here and I go, let's see here, sales letter, images. You know, let's say for example I wanted to put a different image. All you have to do is drag and drop it in here, and you would see the image here. And you can just move around the image and this and that. But I'm going to, let's say I made a boo-boo or made a mistake, and I'm like, oops, I accidentally inserted an image or accidentally deleted something. So, you know, if that's the case, then if you get a history, you can actually backtrack and undo, you know, step by step by step. So that's the beauty of histories, and actions would be, you know, the Cover Action Pro. Now, Cover Action Pro does cost some money, so just keep that in mind that in order to use Photoshop, you'll need to get Photoshop and Cover Action Pro. And if you want to outsource it, you can. So that's why I give you different avenues. If you click up here on Window, you'll notice with the window, it gives you different windows and different options and stuff like that. Most of what you'll need is just mainly this window here, the basic window, the history window, the actions window, and the layers window. So as you can see, you've changed the headline here, and you can easily change this to a different color. And keep your cat happy and healthy. You could even remove that. You could change that. Change the subtitle. All you have to do in using Adobe Photoshop is to select the layer. And then if it's a text, then select text here. And then click on here. And just highlight it. And you can say Cat Training 101 Secrets Revealed. Like expert. We'll say expert reveals secrets. Reveals secrets. And we could add the butterfly again, and this so on and so forth. So as you can see, it's really easy to change the headline, the subheadline, swap out images, import images. And once you're done, of course, you want to click on Save. And if you click on Save As, you can actually save this as a different image. So, you know, if you wanted to get away from using Cover Action Pro and you didn't want to dish out the money yet, you could use the flat cover. You know, you could take this, save it as a PNG, JPEG file, save as, and just choose stuff like, let's see, PNG files, JPEG files, and then you can also just insert this cover into your rebranded report. And I'll show you how to replace images in your rebranded report in a different video. And you can do the same thing to the footer, to the header, and so forth. Use layers. Layers definitely your friend, as you can see here. Change the text, change the images, remove the images that you don't want. You can change the color and so forth. Just remember that in order to edit a layer, you need to select it and then edit it. So we can edit this, Cat Training 101, Secrets Revealed. And being that it kind of went off the edge there, I could make it smaller. Font, it's 42 right now, so I can make it at 24, or that's too small. So I can adjust it until I like it. And do the same thing, rinse and repeat. Click on Save. And that's how to edit graphics. It's really not that hard. And there are always ways around the system. Like I said, if you don't want to use Cover Action Pro, you don't have to. You can simply edit the header, the footer, and the cover and use the flat e-cover as a cover. It just looks better when it's 3D. And if you have it, you could save this, and you don't want to buy Cover Action Pro, you could go to Fiverr.com and find somebody who does have Cover Action Pro to do that for you. So there are many different avenues out there that you can take. Hey, and welcome to video number 4. We're going to be talking about mini site and e-cover graphics rebranding, and in this case we're going to be outsourcing it. So I'm going to be talking about how to find a good designer and how to really set yourself up for success so that when the designer sends you the graphics, you're going to be happy with them. Because time and time again, people hire people, they get upset because the graphics aren't what they want them to be, but you really have to understand how to communicate with the designer and how to find them, or how to spot a good designer. And I'm going to show you exactly, step by step, all of that in this specific video. Now, what I want to do now is give you a quick overview. After I give you a quick overview, I'm actually going to go over, to the sites and show you what you need to do. It's a step-by-step process, 4 steps in this process, very easy to implement. The first step is to get an idea of what you want. So obviously, in the previous video and back to step number 2, you had an idea of the audience, what they want, and so forth. So put yourself in that person's shoes and get an idea of what they're looking for. Are they looking for, let's say cat training tips, or how to help your cat in pain. You need to have a cat in pain, or something that can relate to their needs. Why are they wanting to buy your product, basically? So get an idea of what you want. Step number 2 is to find a mini site or e-cover that you really, really like. Now, it doesn't have to be in the niche, but you have to find a mini site that you really like so that you can tell the designer, hey, I like this mini cover, make something like it. And this is where you kind of set yourself up for success, because designer makes something that you really want. In step number 3, we're going to pick some royalty pictures, royalty-free pictures. You pay it once, you don't pay it again. And we're going to talk about that. And in step number 4, we're going to talk about how to find a good designer. So with that said, let's go on and go to the sites and show you step by step what you need to do. Okay, so back to step number 1, which is get an idea of what you want. And what I mean by that is, okay, what kind of pictures are you going to get, who your target audience is, and so forth. And, if it helps to go to Google and helps you to go to sites that relate to those sites, then do some research, but no more than 5 minutes for this specific step. It shouldn't be hard. Step number 2, once you have that, then you'll want to find a mini site or e-cover that you really, really like. So the best way to do this is to go to Google and type in e-covers. And click on images. And just go through a bunch of e-covers, that look like reports and ebooks and so forth. And the whole idea here is just to pick and choose and find e-covers that you really like, so that you can show the designer, hey, I really like this design because, it's really cool how they use titles. I really like the layout. Find a layout, find a design that you really, really like. And that's the whole point of this specific step. Once you find an e-cover or mini site that you really like, step number 3 comes in, which is where you'll need to find some royalty-free images. And there are several sites that I recommend that you use. There are 3 different sites that I would recommend using, and they are bigstockphoto.com, photalia.com, dreamstime.com, and another one that many people use is istockphoto.com. Now, you will want to pay close attention to their license, basically what you can and cannot do. However, if you're dealing with, creating an e-cover for a ebook or report for personal rights, then most royalty-free stock photo sites will allow you to do that. And if you have any questions, just contact their site. So, of course, now pick royalty-free pictures. So I could put cats. And it really depends on what you're getting at. If you're trying to, do cartoons, you can do cartoons. If that makes it, cool towards your audience. It really depends on what your audience wants. If your audience likes that kind of stuff, then, go after that. But if your audience does not like that, then definitely don't. Cat in pain. And as you can see here, we've got some pictures. So depending on the product, if I got a product about cat in pain, I can do this or this. It's better if you go after pictures that have a white background, if all possible. It's just easier for the designer, quicker, for them to produce the e-cover. There are places, that will, if you go on Fiverr.com, you can actually get somebody to take a photo like this and, remove the background of the cat for $5. So you could even do that just for simplicity. Basically, the easier you make it for the designer, the better it looks on the output. On the ending product that they design for you is going to look better, and it's also going to be cheaper and faster. So definitely want to look for a white background if possible. You could find pictures that express, feelings, happy cat, and so forth and so forth. So you get the point. Just basically go and find some pictures, 1 or 2 pictures that relate. After you do that, step number 4 is to find a good designer. There are 3 different sites that I personally use. They are Fiverr.com, Otis.com, and WarriorForum.com. So first things first, I'm going to start at Fiverr.com. So if you go to Fiverr.com here and you go to the search bar and you click on e-cover, you'll find people that will do your e-covers for $5. Now, depending if you want to change the mini site, you want to take out the mini site and just put an e-cover, you can do that as well. The first thing when you do, go to Fiverr and type e-cover in, you want to click on rating, because you want to make sure that you find the best rated people out there. What I normally do is I open the top 10, because what I'm looking for is I'm trying to find the best designer. And I'll go through, and it looks like these are, primarily ebooks, Kindle books. So I'm actually looking for e-covers. And if it looks good, I'll keep it open. Oh, they have 1,000. Okay. Let's see. I usually make sure that they are 99% and they at least have, 10 or 20 positive reviews, which, as you can see here, many of these people do. So let's say you've opened the top 5 or top 6 or so. What I'll do is I'll simply click on contact and contact all of them. And I will say, hey, do you have any more samples of your e-covers? And, I'll ask some questions. And I'll see who responds the quickest. Whoever responds the quickest tells me usually, okay, this person's serious about their Fiverr gig. Now, you will realize that some people are overseas, so in different time zones. So, within 24 hours, see who responds the quickest, and who can provide the most value. So, number one, provide the most value. Number two, who's the quickest, because that tells me how they will communicate. If they take you seriously and they communicate with you quick, then that's a good sign in terms of somebody like a freelancer, freelance designer, and this and that. So that's pretty much the 4 steps to success when you contact them. Email them, communicate with them before you purchase. Don't click on the purchase there yet, but communicate to them with your idea. Give them an example of the mini sites that you like and tell them, I like this. All you have to do is swap out the pictures. And so I also use Odesk, and I also use the Warrior Forum. If you go on the Warrior Forum and you go to Warriors for Hire, which is here, what I'll do is I'll sift through the designers. So you could even search for designer, and I'll basically go through and look at the designs and use the 4-step process again. Contact different designers, see who responds to you the quickest, ask them 1 or 2 questions in a row. That way, if somebody is in a different time zone, you can detect whether or not they respond quickly between those 2 questions, and see who's serious, and then use my 4-step process, and you will be able to outsource your e-cover and mini site. The key with dealing with outsourcing your products or anything like that, or your e-covers, is to communicate. And with designers especially, designers are creative people, so you don't want to be too restrictive, but then again, you want to make sure that they understand what you want. So be flexible in terms of their ability to design, so that the output of your e-cover and mini site, it's just so much greater. Hey, and welcome to video number 5. We're going to be talking about how you can rebrand your sales letter quickly and easily with a 3-step process that I'm going to teach you. So step number 1 is to write with your own style and just let your creative mind flow. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the next few slides. And step number 2 is don't worry about grammatical mistakes. I'm going to show you how you can find editors and proofreaders on Fiverr.com so that they can help you. So just write with your style and don't worry about grammatical mistakes. And step number 3, I'm going to actually show you how to use Composer, which is a WYSIWYG HTML editor tool. Basically, in short, it allows you to edit your HTML sales letters and very, very easily. So let me move on to step number 1 and talk about your style. What is your style? Basically, how do your customers know you as, or how do you write? That's the question that you should be asking yourself. The point here is that when you receive a sales letter or any type of written materials or anything like that, and let's say, for example, that you have an existing customer base, then when you write your sales letter, people will come to know you the way you write. And if they notice that the way you write is very, very different, then they will notice that. But the point here is to write with your style. Write the way you are comfortable with. You want to use benefits and keywords and things like that, but write the way that you write. Don't worry about, the way you should write. And what I'm trying to get here at is that don't worry about grammatical mistakes. Allow your creative mind to flow. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, I don't have any creative creativeness in my mind or anything like that. But you do. Many of you do. You might be, left brain, right brain, and whatever. But the key here is just let your creative mind flow and rewrite that sales letter. I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you how to do exactly that. Now, before you actually rewrite your sales letter, you want to look at some basic sales copywriting 101. And if you're really good at rewriting sales copy, then you probably could skip this step. However, I do want to provide as many resources as possible to make your life easy in terms of rewriting that sales letter. Now, one of the downsides of getting a private label rights product is not all the sales letters are created equal, and not all the sales letters are created well. So you want to make sure that it follows, the 12 steps with David Frey. And if not, then I would advise you to tweak that sales letter so that you can get higher conversions. Now, obviously, I don't want you to focus way too much time on this and, have, just sit there and not really launch the product. I want you to focus maybe about half an hour on this, and that's it, and then move on. So the 12-step process here, 12-step foolproof sales letter is great because it shows you, what you need to do. So 12 steps are to get attention, identify the problem, provide the solution, present your credentials if you have any. If you don't have any, that's fine. Show the benefits, give social proof, make your offer, inject scarcity, and so forth. Now, I know I got a limited amount of time with this right now, but I do want to give you the resources that you can use. So go on his blog, look over. He actually gives you some really good tips like headline templates, how to blank, or secrets of cat training revealed. Warning, don't even think about training your cat until you read this ebook this and that. Identify the problem, provide the solution, present your credentials, and so forth and so forth. So I wanted to provide you with that first before we actually begin to show you, how to go about rewriting the sales letter. So let me go over here and we'll begin to rewrite the sales letter. Let's see here. Now, some of you will receive the sales letter in HTML format, and then some of you will receive the sales letter in Word format, PDF format, whatever format it is. What I normally try to do, if it is in a web-based format like this, the first thing I want to do is, of course, rewrite it. Or if I can rewrite it, if it's really good already, I might tweak just parts of it. So what I want to do now is simply, if you look at the sales letter here, or the one that you have in front of you, whatever that is, the first thing you want to look at is headline. So have a sub-headline, the introduction, stuff like that. So what I would normally do is, instead of editing the HTML directly, which you'll be able to do in step number 3, and however in step number 1, my goal is simply just to get this in Notepad. So what I'll normally do is I'll open up Notepad or WordPad, doesn't matter. Just open up some sort of Word document type thing. So I got Notepad open up here, and with private label rights, as long as they follow 12 steps, if they don't, then I'll tweak it. And the first thing I'll try to do is I'll try to rewrite the headline. So the headline right now is quickly tap into the lucrative cat niche without spending a fortune or hours of your valuable time creating the content yourself. Now, obviously, in this case, the product is the report is cat niche, but it is selling to people who want to resell the report kind of thing. So it's focused towards online publishers and online business resellers. So in that case, you could go to David Fry's system and just use some of his templates, like, okay, warning or secrets of, let's see, warning, secrets of, people will always want to know secrets. I found that. I can definitely tell you that. Shortcuts, secrets, tricks, resources, stuff like that. So if I were wanting to rewrite this, I could say something like secrets of lucrative or profitable cat niche revealed. And I could also combine that with the warning. Warning, don't even think about or think of going into the cat training niche until you read this. Something like that. And then most of the time you want a subheadline which supports the headline, and you could say expert cat trainer reveals all. Something like that. Something to support the headline. And then if we look at here, we have this here. What I'll normally do is copy this over. Because when you send the stuff to the proofreader and the editor and the person who's editing your grammar, then they're probably not going to look at this and fix this. So you're going to need it in some sort of notepad or Word document type thing. So it says, Dear Online Publisher, now you have a 12 completely customizable newsletter, blah, blah, blah. So, and the way I would normally rewrite this, which you can do anything you want, is I would start with the fact. I would say something like, fact, cat training is an evergreen and profitable niche according to some sort of statistic. And then I would just follow David Fray's system of 12 steps. Number one, get their attention, identify the problem. Are you, say something like, are you sick and tired of, fact here? And so you got their attention, present a problem, and then solution. The solution would be your product, and then so forth and so forth. So this is basic sales copywriting 101. I don't want to go way too much into it because this could be a whole new different course, but you want to use that. You want to definitely follow his thing. You can also go on Google and type in copywriting keywords and just find like words and phrases, like 58 online copywriting power words. Power words is the keyword to finding, like free gift, limited time, and just sprinkle a bunch of that stuff throughout your whole sales letter. So what I would normally do is I would rewrite the sales letter. I wouldn't totally rewrite it, but I would rewrite, at least the headline, the subheadline, part of the introduction, and a little bit of the middle, and at the ending as well. So I would go through and use a 12-step system and use some power words and phrases and make sure that you express the benefits and the what's in it for the viewer type questions. Once you're done with that, I would basically save this as a Word document. So I'd create a brand new Word document, plop this in here, and then I would go to Fiverr. And then step number 2, what I do after I write or rewrite the sales letter is I send it off to somebody to edit and proofread. I really don't have time to sit there and fix my grammatical mistakes. And with this process, I found that I don't run into writer's block. I'm able to pump out sales letters within an hour or two, simply because I don't care about proofreading. So what I want to do now is I want to go over to Fiverr.com and show you how to find proofreaders very, very quickly who can edit your sales letter just for $5 or $10 or whatever, depending on how many words you have. So let me go ahead and show you that. So I use Fiverr.com for all of my proofreading, in terms of proofreading documents and so forth. I love Fiverr. I've never had a bad experience. And the way I go about finding people to proofread my documents, I use several different people at different times. And I go to Fiverr, I go to the search section here, and just type in proofread. Then I click on rating, and then I look for, in this area specifically, people who will proofread anywhere from 1,500 words to 2,000 or 2,500, because that usually tells me, okay, these people are good at what they do. They can read fairly fast and pick up stuff fairly quickly. So I'll open these up and these up, and I'll often look for people that have top-rated sellers and different things like that. Another thing to look for is people who have this here that's Express. That means that they will turn around, proofread your document within 24 hours and send that back to you. So I'll open these up, I'll send them a message and say, hey, are you still free? Whoever contacts me first, and I will usually analyze it that way, and then I'll go out and choose that person, unless I realize that they're in a different country. For example, this person's in the United Kingdom. I'll wait, and then they have Express near them, so that tells me, okay, good, they're going to turn around within 24 hours. So this is the method that I use specifically. Number one, don't worry about grammatical mistakes. Get somebody else to do it. And number two, get somebody else to do it. So once that's done, they will normally send you a Word document with changes and stuff like that in it. So we're going to take that document, and I'm going to show you next how you can add that to the actual sales letter web page. Now, once you're done with, you've received the document from the proofreader, you can take that and you can, just add that to Composer, to the HTML file using Composer. So I'm going to show you how to edit with Composer. First thing I want to do is show you how to download and install it, and basically where to do that. And then I'm going to show you how to edit the HTML sales letter using Composer. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say that they've just sent me the sales letter document, and normally they will have like track changes enabled. So if you're in Microsoft Word and you see something like, let's see here, I'll show, click track changes, and you do something like, they delete this, and then you see marks and stuff and blah blah blah. In order to get rid of these track changes, you will need to accept the changes that are made. So what I would normally do to get rid of these track changes when I get, when I receive the document, and this is just to tell you what they did, what I would normally do is I click here, click on final, and click accept, and accept all changes in document. That way, as you can see, this is made. The changes are final, and then what I'll do from this point is I'll copy this to Notepad. And to do that, I'll just basically click Control A to select all, or of course you can go up here and select all as well. But press Control A to select all, or do whatever you need to select all of the text. and then I'll basically just copy that over to Notepad. And the reason being is when you transfer, text from a Notepad to the HTML editing tool, then you get rid of all the code. But if you copy stuff from Word, a Microsoft Word document to the web HTML editor, then it gets all funky and you get all these issues and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and do that. So if I go to sales letter here, and let's say, for example, that I want to edit the sales letter, which is this file here. So what I'll normally do is I'll go to sales letter, and I will open it up using a program called Composer. Now I do want to show you how to download Composer. If you go to Google, and it starts with a K, so it's Composer with a Z-E-R. So it's Kompozer, and you click on this. So you go to Composer here, you click on Download for Windows. Now if you do have a Macintosh, they do have that available. So you gotta go click on Downloads here, and you'll be able to see that you can download in different languages in Windows, Macintosh, and in Linux. So just want to make that point there if you are using a Mac. So go ahead, download it, install it, and we'll begin to use it right away. So if you need to pause this video right now, do that now. So I will now assume that you have Composer, and if you've installed it, we're going to edit this file here. So normally what I'll do is I'll open up the file just to view it first to make sure that I am editing the right file. If that's the case, then I'm going to right click on Open With, and click on Composer. Now if you are using a Mac, then I would recommend you open Composer first and then find that file and open it up. So right now I'm looking at the sales page, and I've noticed that the header is the actual headline is actually part of the header. So let's say that I was going to totally revamp this and totally get rid of the header and the footer and just create a brand new e-cover. So if I do that and I just delete that, and I do decide to do that, I can do that later. But what I want to do now is just focus on the sales letter itself. Now I'm going to minimize this so you can see it better, because I know it's hard to see it. Alright, so I've minimized it, I've fit it in the box so you can see it. And what I'll normally do is I'll open up Notepad where I've copied my information in here, and I'll simply drag and drop it over there. Now Composer is so easy to use, as you can see here, and let me just give you a quick run through. These red lines are tables, and basically you'll want to just edit the text. If you want to create like a new headline, put new headline here, and you highlight it. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, with these play around. You can change the font here, you can make it in the middle, format the middle, you can add bullet points, you can add numbered bullet points, you can change the color. Dark red usually does. You can change the font, Courier, Times New Roman, and change it back. You can add images, you can add tables, other tables, you can tweak the tables, you can add links, and so forth. So as you can see, it's very, very easy to use. So what I'll normally do is I'll have this open, and I will basically copy this over to here. And normally sometimes I'll put in the quotations too, like secrets of profitable cat niche, secrets of the profitable cat niche revealed, warning for let's see, warning, don't even think of going in warning to online publishers. don't even think about going into the cat training niche until you read this. And then we'll want to add our subheadline: expert cat trainer reveals all, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. And let's say I want to change the color of the subheadline to maybe blue, and I want to make that smaller. I can do that here too. And as you can see, it's very easy. Make sure you save your files just in case something happens. From the desk of first name, we'll just say John Smith. Everybody uses John Smith. But let's do that, and we can change this. You know, text is very easy to change. You can see that this image is within the table. So, you know, we could delete this, we could add our own, you know, stuff. You know, so really, as you can see, it's very easy to edit HTML files as long as you have the right resources and tools. And fortunately, and best of all, it's all free. So once you're done with that, click on save, and if I click exit and I open this up in Google Chrome, as you can see here, I've gotten rid of the header and everything, and I was easily able to change everything. And that's how easy this is. Hey, and welcome to video number 6. We're going to talk about rebranding the product. So we're going to take the live example of the cat training report, and I'm going to show you, how to go through it, give you some ideas on rebranding the product, and we'll get started right away. Now, before I show you, how to edit, how to rebrand your ebook or report, I do want to say that while we're using Microsoft Word in this video, if you don't have Microsoft Word and you don't have enough money to dish out the money for Microsoft Word, then there is an alternative. If you go to Google and you type in Open Office, I've used Open Office before and it's been a great tool. I just prefer to use Microsoft Word. Open Office is free. If you go to the site, it's basically a suite of programs with, Word documents, and it can read Word documents and so forth and so forth. But I wanted to put that out there just in case you did not have Microsoft Word and you wanted another avenue. With that said, I am going to open the report in Microsoft Office. So I'm going to double click this and open it up here. And what I want to do now is simply go through the report and use Microsoft Word and show you, things like how to change the header or the footer to reflect the rebranded title, how to change your author name to your website, how to insert images, your e-cover image into the first page. And this report was actually very well done. Not all private label rights products are done this way, but I was actually very happy with this example. But what I'll do is I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to rewrite we talked about the title, the subtitle. I'll show you how to write the chapter, the table of contents, replace images, change fonts, and so forth and so forth. So as you can see here with the cat special report, this is the headline here. So let's say, for example, that we want to change the header and the footer. So with Microsoft Word, it's different depending on what version you use. I'm actually using a lot much older version. And if I go to home and I click on the insert, I can click on header and I can edit the header. So I can change special report to cat training special report. And then if I want to change the footer, I can do that here. So if I click that, I can say www.cattraining101.com, and click close header and footer. So that was the header and footer, and just to reflect the title and the subtitle and so forth. So you can really change things around whatever you choose to do so. Now, normally, not always, will you have an e-cover on the first page. So what I can do is simply delete this and insert another picture. So you would basically have to find an image to do that. And once you find an image, I know this is not necessarily a cat picture, but you can insert that here. And you can also resize that image. You can move it around, you can center it, and so forth. So a lot of private label rights reports usually will have areas where you can customize it. However, I would actually change it around. Simple tips that will help you keep your cat healthy and happy for a lifetime. This report was brought to you by, and I would just say, I would change it around so it doesn't look like everyone else's. And John Smith, use this, insert your bio. Most people don't really care about your bio. But if you do have credentials in the sales part, you can do that. Or if you're trying to sell your other books, I would put that here as well. Not necessarily sales, but maybe tips and advice to gain their trust and so forth. And then you have the table of contents. I would do table of contents. And if I ever rewrote this, I would change this out. And let's see, I'm going to delete this. And you'll definitely want to go through the report, and if it needs to be rewritten, you can get it rewritten. And I would just go through and look at it and see if I could change the text and perhaps even the titles here. And it's about 6,645 words. You can actually find people to rewrite on Fiverr if you want to go that route and just rewrite it. But for the most part, if I go through, change things around, rebranding is actually, changing the stuff is very easy. The big question that you need to ask yourself is, once you figured out everything in video number 2, does this report need to be changed? Do you need to add, more pictures? Do you need to re-angle the report? Do you need to add bonuses like videos and so forth to it to change it around? And once you're done with this, you can just go through it, and in the future videos we'll show you how to convert this file into a PDF. But basically just go through it, make sure that it follows your plan from video number 2 and really follows the rebranding and repositioning of the actual product. Hey, and welcome to video number 7. We're going to be talking about how to convert the rebranded Word document into a PDF file. So what we're going to do is we're going to install Qt PDF, which is a free software, and then we're going to do the conversion. So let's go ahead and get started. So like I said earlier, we're going to be using a program called Qt PDF, which is free. If you go to Google and you type in Qt PDF and go straight to the website here, and at the top right here where you see Qt PDF Writer, that's what you want. So simply click on free download, download it on your computer, and install it, and we'll begin using it in just a minute. Okay, so once you have installed Qt PDF, this is how to use it, and it's really easy to use. All you have to do is find the document that you're working with and simply go print it. So if I go at the top and click on print, and it acts like a printer. So the way it works is you can print anything, like anything that can be printed, you can turn that into a PDF file. Now, for this specific purpose, if we click on print and we make sure that Qt PDF is chosen, if we click on OK, and after maybe a few seconds, it will basically create a PDF file for you, and that's it. So as you can see here, I was able to create a PDF file, and if I double click that, you can see that I was able to create the PDF file, and I opened it up right here. So as you can see, very, very easy to convert anything that can be printed into a PDF file. Hey, and welcome to video number 8. We're going to be talking about squeeze pages. How to customize your squeeze page, and you can build a list through this and use it as a means to market your ebook, your report, or your written document, whatever that might be. So the process is this. You're going to take your squeeze page, you're going to customize your squeeze page, you're going to create your list and create a form at Aweber, GetResponse, MailChimp, or Constant Contact, or any place like that. Then you're going to take the code, you're going to add the form code to the squeeze page, and then you're going to upload the squeeze page files to your website. Now, some of you may not have a squeeze page. The purpose of a squeeze page is to get people onto your list so that you can, add follow-up messages, follow up with them, and use it as a means to market your product. So if you don't have a squeeze page and it did not come with your Privately Writes ebook or report, then creating squeeze pages is very, very easy. It's just as simple as creating a thank you page. But it has an autoresponder form code that enables you to follow up with your prospectives. Now, I'm going to be talking about creating follow-up messages and a system that you can use to go about doing that in the next video. So with that said, let me go ahead and show you how to customize squeeze pages. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go and find the squeeze page that I was given here, and it says website. If I click on this and I go to these links here, you'll find 2 pages that operate in a squeeze page. Now, you can have one, you can just have the squeeze page itself. But as you can see here, it has a squeeze page. Squeeze page is very, very short. As you can see, it has a headline, has a brief introduction. So it's kind of like a sales letter, but it has, lots of benefits and so forth. And it shows people, okay, what do you get? You get a newsletter, you get a free report, you get free gift, something related to that topic, and you can get it if you fill in this form here. So this form here is going to have the first name and the email address, or just the email address, and then they fill it in, and then they gain access to your messages, to your follow-up messages, and so forth. Now, as you can see, it's really easy. So as long as you understand what is in a squeeze page, you can actually go ahead and create it. It's just as easy as creating your sales letter, using the Composer WYSIWYG tool. So what I'm going to do now is simply open this in the WYSIWYG tool. So I'm going to go back here, click on Edit, Open with Composer. And I'm going to go through, you can customize it if you want to, but all I need to do to make this work is to add a subscription code, form code here. Now, before I actually go out and get that code, some of the Privately Writes products will have, a confirmation message like this. So whenever somebody fills out the form, they can either be sent to, Aweber GetResponse or their default confirmation page, or you can set it up. As you can see here, this one was given to me and it says, wait, please check your mail. And it just reminds people that they need to check their mail. And this is just another strategy that if you use this, then you can actually promote stuff on your confirmation email if you choose to do so. Or you can just use the default confirmation email or message. So what I'm going to do is just hop on over to Aweber and show you how to get the code, then how to add the code to the squeeze page and then upload it and make it work. So I'm going to go to aweber.com, and depending on what you use, it can be different. So the purpose and the point of this is to create a list, add follow-up messages to that list, and of course it varies, it differs from place to place, and after that create a web form. So right now I'm at aweber.com, and let's say that I've created a list, added the messages, or if I haven't, I can do that later. But for now, I'm going to create a web form that will enable me to grab people's first name and email address. So I could use this, I could customize this, I could change it around depending on the audience. And let's say that I'm happy with what I see right here. If I'm happy with what I see right here, I just save the web form and go to step number 2. And this is what I was talking about here. Your thank you page, you can have a basic thank you page that by default that they give you, or if you click on custom page, you can enter the URL of that thank you page here. However, most of the time I'll just choose the basic version and click go to step 3. And then what I'll do is I'll just get this code here, copy it, and going to Composer, I want to put the code here. So since I want to do that, all I need to do is follow the same rules, create a code here, and then go here and then find that code. And then replace that code or that text with my autoresponder. And when you go back here, you can see that the form has been added, and you want to make sure that you test this out and it works, and that's it. And then you'll want to go to the FTP program, and then we could create a folder here, free gift, and simply drag, highlight, drag, and drop here. And if, like I said earlier, if you don't have a squeeze page, then another way you can go about doing that is simply take the sales letter, make a copy of the sales letter, and just re-edit the sales letter so that it includes enough information that entices the person to want to sign up for the free newsletter or free gift. Hey, and welcome to video number 9. We're going to be talking about follow-up messages in relation to using them for promoting your product and as a means and a part of your marketing. Now, if you're not familiar with follow-up messages, they are email messages that are sent to your prospectives who you're trying to gain their trust and you're trying to convert them into actual customers. And imagine you have we'll use cat training as an example. I'll have a squeeze page on a cat training product, and they sign up, they get 12 tips or 7 to 12 tips, each and every day or every other day, whatever I choose. And they learn a lot up to the point that they're really interested in buying my product. So some of you will have follow-up messages that are attached to your private label rights product, but some of you will not. And if you don't, then I'm going to show you a system that you already know and show you how to create follow-up messages. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm back to the actual product here, and you will notice that there are 12 follow-up messages that are attached to this product. Now, what I want to do is just show it to you, and if you don't have it, the next step, I'm going to show you how you can create your own follow-up messages. The point of a follow-up message, if I double-click this and show it to you, is if you scroll down, and some sites will give you, follow-up messages, and they'll attach instructions and so forth. And this is why I like this particular site. But anyways, the first message is normally a confirmation message. Let's say, for example, that you're using Aweber or GetResponse, and many of these systems require you to actually have people double opt-in, which means they have to confirm. So the first email that they're going to probably get if you have a double opt-in system is they're going to sign up for your free gift or your newsletter or anything like that. And then the first message they're going to get is say, hey, are you interested in receiving these emails? Make sure you are. Click this link. Once their link is clicked, then you can start the array of follow-up messages. So as you can see here, message number 1, it says your first caring for your feline friend issue. And it says, hello, so-and-so. So you're kind of introducing your other stuff, but you also want to include a tip. So your whole point of the first follow-up message is to make an impression on the person that you really care about them, and by doing so, you provide them with tips that they are most likely going to pay for it, but you provide them for free so that you can gain their trust. So that goes into there, the first follow-up message. It really depends on, you can test this out. You could either send them a message every day for 12 days or every other day. And a lot of times in terms of marketing, people have to see a product 7 to 12 times until they actually are interested in buying. Obviously, most of the time, by the 12th time, they are really, really going to want your product. So this is message number 2. It says, caring for your feline friend. In the last issue, we talked about this. And in this issue, we're going to talk about this. So what I'm trying to do is just give you some ideas. Now, if you don't have follow-up messages, what I want to do is show you how to create them. What I recommend you to do is just find some follow-up messages, but using David Frey's 12-step foolproof sales letter system, when I create follow-up messages, I actually use this system. So what I do is this here. Get attention, number 1. Identify the problem. Provide a solution. But as you're doing this, you don't want to sell too much. For example, make your offer. In every one of these follow-up messages, you want to make your offer, but you don't want to do it too upfront. You want to do it indirectly. And because you don't want to look like you're just trying to get the sale. You want to get the attention. You want to identify the problem. Provide a solution that identifies the problem. Present your credentials, why they should listen to you, and then provide, a tip. So while you're doing all these 12 steps, you're bringing people closer and closer to the end of a sale by doing this. But by doing this, you have to do it carefully, like I said. You have to make sure that you give as much of a tip as possible. And, you don't have to give 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. You just need to give one really good tip and then say, if you would like more of these tips, see the report kind of thing. So let me give you an example. Message 1 could be something like, you're getting attention, secrets of cat training revealed. What I want to do is talk about in this, what I'm doing is just speaking out loud here and saying, warning, don't even think about training your cat until blah. For example, let me give you a tip about cat training. You might want to do this, but in reality, you should do this, and this is why, blah, 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 blah. And then identify the problem, agitate the problem. So as you bring them closer to the end of the 10, 11, 12 of this step-by-step foolproof sales letter template, you implement this into your follow-up messages and you will be able to increase your conversions greatly. So go Google this 12-step foolproof sales letter template and just follow along. Okay, message 1, message 2, message 3, message 4, and then make sure that you inject really good content along with it. And once you're done with your 7 to 12 follow-up messages, then you will want to add these to your follow-up system in your autoresponder. Now, I realize many of you use Aweber, some of you use GetResponse, some of you use MailChimp. So whatever system that you choose to use these follow-up messages in your follow-up system. And of course, there are two different systems. There's a follow-up system and a broadcasting system. So because there are so many different systems out there, I'm going to just, say, look that up at your site with a GetResponse and look in the instructions, and then just include these follow-up messages in your system, and then set it up so that everybody gets a new email message every single day. And this way you condition your viewers to receive things from you each and every day. And that's how to create follow-up messages. It's really not that hard. Don't think too much about it. It's really not going to take you more than 15 minutes per message. And you can find messages are already out there, but this is definitely a great way to get things rolling. Hey, and welcome to video number 10. We're going to talk about how you can set up your thank you page. It's a very easy process. Number 1, you're going to zip your product files, your ebook or report or written document, along with your license. Now remember that you receive privately rights to a product. That doesn't mean that you can necessarily pass those rights on. So depending on your license, make sure that you create a license and attach it to the product files. And you can easily do that using Microsoft Word, copy pasting the other license, tweaking them and changing them around. Some private label rights will have transferable rights, which means you can transfer that to your customer. But then if it's non-transferable, then they can only have personal rights. So make sure you pay close attention to the legal rights. After that, you take the zipped product files and you add it to the same folder as your thank you page. Now, you can add it to any folder that you want, but for simplicity, if you add them to the same folder as your thank you page, it just makes life a lot easier. And I'll show you why in just a second. And then, of course, after that, you can edit the thank you page with Composer and upload the files. And that's it. So let me go and show you how easy it is. So the key here is to zip only the product files into one zip file. Now, with an ebook and report, you're dealing with a very small size file. So you don't really have to create individual zip files just because you're dealing with very, very small sized files. So first thing to do is to locate the report or the ebook. And all of these are just marketing materials for ourselves. And so we just need this. So we need the cat special report or anything that you're dealing with. Plus you need a license. So like I said earlier, you should create a license, and using what I taught you on how to convert the license or the Word document to a PDF file, you can create the PDF file. So we've got this. We might want to convert this into a PDF. So we're going to copy these two PDFs and zip them into a zip folder. Now, if you're on a Windows computer, then zipping them is easy. All you need to do is select these two. And the way I did it was I clicked on it, clicked Control, and selected the license. If you're on a Macintosh, you'll need to do something different. So basically zip these two files, and I'll just call it cat, train cat ports. And then I want to move this to the location where my thank you page is for simplicity. So I'm going to go to the sales letter, and that's my download page. So what I did earlier was I just clicked on this, right click, click cut, and basically moved it over to here. So right clicked, click on paste, and that's it. So the next step is to edit my thank you page or download page here and connect the product zip file to that page. And to do that, it's simply by using Composer again. So I'm going to right click on the thank you page, open it with Composer, and you're going to see how easy this is going to be. It only takes less than a few minutes. So I've got Composer open here, and I'm going to put this in here so that you can see it better. And as you can see, here is a thank you page. Alright, so in this case, I'm just only selling the report itself. So I'm going to delete this. What I'm going to do is just delete this here. And I'm going to, okay, so thank you for your purchase. Please bookmark this page. Your account will show up and your name. Okay, good. And then right below the picture, I'm going to download here. And the reason why I said if I go back over to the file manager here, the reason why I put this in here is simply because of this. If I click on this and click rename and then highlight the whole thing and right click and copy, what I'm trying to do is get a link directly to the downloadable files. So it says download here. If I highlight that, select that, click on link, and just enter train.catreport.zip. If it's in the same folder as the thank you page, all I need to do is enter this. Now, if it is a different location, then I will need to point that there. And that's why, for simplicity, I did it this way. Click on OK, and if you want to add bonuses, you can. But for simplicity, I'm just going to click on Save and close it. Then the last thing I need to do is upload these files to my server. And in this, I recommend that you use FileZilla FTP program, and you can get FileZilla simply by going to, you go to Google, you type in FileZilla, click on Client Download. The beauty of FileZilla is compatible with Windows, Linux, and Macintosh. So download it, install it, and then get your FTP hosting information, username and password. Install this program, connect to it with the host is usually ftp.whateveryourdomain.com is. Enter your username and password, and then once you're connected, basically double click on this. And you have two choices. You can either create a new folder or just simply upload them directly to the main folder. So right now I've got FileZilla open here, and then I've got my files here. If I select them all and drag and drop them here, you'll see how easy it is, and I've already uploaded the files. And that's it for this video. Hey, and welcome to video number 11. We're going to talk about how you can automate your payment delivery system by using PayPal. And congratulations again, you're at the end of this video series. So you should be ready to rock and roll. Now, what I want to do is just briefly talk about the process here. First, we're going to create a PayPal button that will connect your sales letter, your index.html file, to your thank you page, whatever that might be. And then we're going to take the PayPal button that PayPal gives you at that point, and we're going to add the custom button to your sales letter, which is your index.html file, and we're going to upload the files, and that's it. It's really that easy. So let's go ahead and go to paypal.com. So when you log into your PayPal account, you click on Merchant Services, and then you'll want to click on Create Payment Buttons for your website. Now, PayPal has obviously updated their user interface. However, if it changes, just find the button that says Create a Payment Button for your website. If you click on that, it's a 3-step process. Very, very easy to do. So the first thing you'll want to do is to choose the button type. So you can have shopping cart, buy now, donations, subscriptions, and so forth. Now, since our product is just, in this example, is just a one-time report and it's not a subscription, we're simply going to click on buy now. Now, if you had a different business model, like a monthly site, you would click on subscriptions. But for simplicity, I'm going to choose buy now. And for the item name, I'm just going to call it, cat training report. And then you price it. And we don't need any of these. You can customize it if you want to. And you can see the cool thing is if you do press that, then you can customize it. However, we don't need a bunch of menus or anything like that. You can also customize the text or appearance here, but we're just going to keep it simple. So I'm going to leave it the default button. And after that, if we click on track inventory, we don't really have much here because we're dealing with an intangible report. So I'm going to click on customize advanced features. And this is the place where you want to enter your thank you page URL. So if I'm at this step, it says, do you want to let your customer change order quantities? No, because I only have a report. Can your customer add special instructions to you? You can do that if you want them to be able to do that. I don't really want to. Do you need your customer's shipping address? No, I do not need that information. And it says take customers to this URL if they cancel the checkout. If they do that, I could send them to my sales page, whatever that might be. So you'll want to put your www.yourdomain.com, whatever that might be, or to your sales page. And then it says take your customers to this URL when they finish the checkout. So basically your download page or your thank you page. So you need to have the URL for that specific page. So if we, yourdomain.com/thankyou-page.html, whatever that your thank you page is, enter that here. Once you're done with that, simply click on create button. And that's it. We've created your customized PayPal button. Now it's going to give you two different options. You can either enter the PayPal button as it is, or let's say you have a buy button picture, then you can actually turn that buy button into a clickable buy it now button. So for example, as you can see here at this with this cat report, there is a order now button. So what I want to do now is simply turn this into a link. Now I'm going to show you how to do it two different ways, just in case you have if you have a button or if you don't have a button, so know which route to take. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. If I go here and I click on sales letter and then I click on index.html, I'm going to open that with Composer and I'm going to go ahead and edit that. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to take an existing buy now button like I showed you earlier and how to make it clickable. So to do that, all I have to do is scroll down and find the buy now button. So if I click on this and click on link and make sure the link is chosen, paste the link and click OK. Click don't use alternate text, click OK, click save. And if I go back over here and I refresh the page, then you will notice that it is clickable. So if I click on this, it'll go to PayPal. Now, I'm just looking at this on my file manager, so in order to make this live, I need to upload that specific file by FTP and override this specific file. So to do that, I would just simply go here, drag and drop it over here, and then we would overwrite the existing file. Now, if you were to take the different avenue where you wanted to create a buy button on that page, then you would copy this code. So right click and copy. And then you would go to Composer. And let's say we'll just take this out. The easiest way to go about doing this without having to know HTML is simply by putting some sort of variable or some sort of code. So like one of the ones that I use is just 1 2 3. We'll just say 1 2 1 2 3 3 2 1, and then I'll click on source code, and you're going to look for that code. So let's see, you can edit, find 1 2 3 3 2 1, and go here. And basically, since we already copied from PayPal, I'm going to right click on that and paste, and you're going to see the code has been copied here. So if I click on save here, you'll see that the buy button is here. Now I might need to center that, so if I go back over here, you can do that as well. So you can highlight it and center it, and that's it. And you can do the same thing here to upload the file here through FTP, and just make sure you upload the file so that it is live and the changes that are made are live. And that's it. Hey, and welcome to video number 11. We're going to talk about how you can automate your payment delivery system by using PayPal. And congratulations again, you're at the end of this video series, so you should be ready to rock and roll. Now, what I want to do is just briefly talk about the process here. First, we're going to create a PayPal button that will connect your sales letter, your index.html file, to your thank you page, whatever that might be. And then we're going to take the PayPal button that PayPal gives you at that point, and we're going to add the custom button to your sales letter, which is your index.html file, and we're going to upload the files, and that's it. It's really that easy. So let's go ahead and go to paypal.com. So when you log into your PayPal account, you click on Merchant Services, and then you'll want to click on Create Payment Buttons for your website. Now, PayPal has obviously updated their user interface. However, if it changes, just find the button that says Create a Payment Button for your website. If you click on that, it's a three-step process, very, very easy to do. So the first thing you'll want to do is to choose the button type. So you can have shopping cart, buy now, donations, subscriptions, and so forth. Now, since our product is just, in this example, is just a one-time report and it's not a subscription, we're simply going to click on buy now. Now, if you had a different business model, like a monthly site, you would click on subscriptions. But for simplicity, I'm going to choose buy now. And for the item name, I'm just going to call it, cat training report. And then you price it. And we don't need any of these. You can customize it if you want to. And you can see the cool thing is if you do press that, then you can customize it. However, we don't need a bunch of menus or anything like that. You can also customize the text or appearance here, but we're just going to keep it simple. So I'm going to leave it the default button. And after that, if we click on track inventory, we don't really have much here because we're dealing with an intangible report. So I'm going to click on customize advanced features. And this is the place where you want to enter your thank you page URL. So if I'm at this step, it says, do you want to let your customer change order quantities? No, because I only have a report. Can your customer add special instructions to you? You can do that if you want them to be able to do that. I don't really want to. Do you need your customer's shipping address? No, I do not need that information. And it says take customers to this URL if they cancel the checkout. If they do that, I could send them to, my sales page, whatever that might be. So you'll want to put your www.yourdomain.com, whatever that might be, or to your sales page. And then it says take your customers to this URL when they finish the checkout. So basically your download page or your thank you page. So you need to have the URL for that specific page. So if we, yourdomain.com/thankyou-page.html, whatever that your thank you page is, enter that here. Once you're done with that, simply click on create button. And that's it. We've created your customized PayPal button. Now it's going to give you two different options. You can either enter the PayPal button as it is, or let's say you have a buy button picture, then you can actually turn that buy button into, a clickable buy it now button. So for example, as you can see here at this, with this cat report, there is a order now button. So what I want to do now is simply turn this into a link. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it two different ways, just in case you have two different, if you have a button or if you don't have a button, so you know which route to take. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. If I go here and I click on sales letter and then I click on index.html, I'm going to open that with Composer and I'm going to go ahead and edit that. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to take an existing buy now button like I showed you earlier and how to make it clickable. So to do that, all I have to do is scroll down and find the buy now button. So if I click on this and click on link and make sure the link is chosen, paste the link and click OK. Click don't use alternate text, click OK, click save. And if I go back over here and I refresh the page, then you will notice that it is clickable. So if I click on this, it'll go to PayPal. Now, I'm just looking at this on my file manager, so in order to make this live, I need to upload that specific file by FTP and override this specific file. So to do that, I would just simply go here, drag and drop it over here, and then we would overwrite the existing file. Now, if you were to take the different avenue where you wanted to create a buy button on that page, then you would copy this code. So right click and copy. And then you would go to Composer. And let's say we'll just take this out. The easiest way to go about doing this without having to know HTML is simply by putting some sort of variable or some sort of code. So like one of the ones that I use is just 1, 2, 3. We'll just say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And then I'll click on source code, and you're going to look for that code. So let's see, you can edit, find 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, and go here. And basically, since we already copied from PayPal, I'm going to right click on that and paste, and you're going to see the code has been copied here. So if I click on save here, you'll see that the buy button is here. Now I might need to center that, so if I go back over here, you can do that as well. So you can highlight it and center it, and that's it. And you can do the same thing here to upload the file here through FTP, and just make sure you upload the file so that it is live and the changes that are made are live. And that's it.